Welcome everybody to episode 9 of Katawa Shoujo with me, Burning Oil, and I'm sorry we had to wait a day. I got quite drunk on Friday and I couldn't do a Saturday. Don't drink, kids. Don't do it. But I mean, it made me sing real good. So anyway, last we played Katawa Shoujo. Man, what did we do? Oh yeah, we were taking a walk. We were taking a walk with Lily and we got hold of... Oh yeah, we walked into Rin. And we had like a little get-together with Emmy and Rin on the rooftops. And we were just heading back, I think. Yeah. Right, and now... Yeah, and we just started. So, let's get straight back into it, shall we? So we load. And... Oh, mind your step, eh? We start towards the school again, having wasted more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her arrhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. Quite apart from the relaxing one in town at that. So, how's the mural going? We're going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, 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 step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top of is surprisingly steep. Going uphill, we slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder. Interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something, I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say aside from our travelling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. I don't really want to talk about. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition. No, but I don't like saying I don't want to talk about it unless it's really serious stuff. You know, that could actually harm you if you talk about it, right? But I think you should talk about issues you have, you know, so as in issues that can be fixed, you know, so it's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh, is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean... She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realising she was a bit too intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you looked fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart? Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of spring in a hospital. Ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait... So, the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to... how do you say that? Assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realise the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Oh, I like Lily. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all the walk back, and I had all but forgotten she was there. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go into a fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday, and nothing is wrong yet. This mural is going to need to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs? Or a time machine? This is not good, not good. So she's behind schedule. Recalling Shizune's exasperation at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a "I told you so" unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes. But then I realise she's not one to do that sort of thing. Leave me. Okay. We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone? She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just, how to say... Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously, nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So I guess I was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted as all this as I am. Sorry, that was my PC. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. Can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Maybe because she likes you. Relaxed, I'd say, but that's probably just a relief over getting rid of Rin. Maybe. Yeah, good night. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. We'll fade to black, eh? Are we dead? Are we dead yet? Are we dead yet? Are we gonna die? Are we dead? We're not dead. We're in the classroom, guys. We made it. The students roll into class for a Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mutu lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students are the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. He just looks like he does, though. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behaviour for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work, not wanting to break the trend. I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. that can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. Bang! I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mutu approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Mutu stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So, tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Mutu to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now. How are things? They're fine, I guess? I see. And how is your condition? The pause before condition seems a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes over Mutu's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mutu taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with those things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Mutu's serious talk is over and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief for that suggestion is unsurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mutu pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Mutu does not even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Mutu and I left in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you leave, I expect the answers for these problems by Monday. The class size is one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of more pressing issues at hand. The classroom enters in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Hanako! Apart from me, Hanako's the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business. I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels stronger. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Yay! Hanako? Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. That's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving in to one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any other day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. Oh god, it must be bad. It doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako. But by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill time. Go for a walk into town. So this is basically go see Hanako, go see Lily. God damn it. Decision. This is a big decision. Probably one of them's going to kill themselves or something. I don't know. These kind of things always happen. He says only playing one visual novel in his life. I've watched many anime. Many animus. God. What would Hikai do? Go for a walk into town. Yes. Okay, we're going for Lily, boys and girls. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There was a reason she left the classroom after all. And then aside, I do want to catch up with Lily. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other obviously taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lily. The exercise will do me some good as well. Walking through the schoolyard to the gate, I give a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed by right now. I remember what Lily said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on study that I've missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are immaculate, and quite divorced from a dime a dozen concrete blocks of public schools. There's also the fact that there's a much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendly atmosphere. At my old school, it's generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. Eventually I reach the gate and begin to walk down the road and into town. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of town, even including the houses perched on the hills or around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. All that's to be seen are the odd elderly person shuffling along the sidewalk and assorted busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them, though, making me realise that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat on a wobbly old bench that I notice near a couple of vending machines. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take breaths. I feel like I feel more like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. The stay in hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me. Damn it. Eventually my breathing returns to normal, and the muscles in my chest loosen. Not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means the end of my little sojourn, though, in any case. There's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. For a few minutes I stand there waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Eventually a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me by complete surprise. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you weren't here. I really have no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff as well as apparently a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downwards in an overacted bow. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know, well, some coffee, please? Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Yeah, thanks. Yuka's formality takes me aback. She used to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turn quickly and glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards the table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Is Lily. Yay. Whoa. Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to ascertain that it's a certain Satu at the table. Instead, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. He? She? I think she must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lily. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her, after all. Hi, Lily. Hisao? Yeah, nice to meet you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. She's got red eyes. Know each other? I guess? It's as good as an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions must be in order. Hisao, this is Akira Satu, my older sister. Akira, this is Hisao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Akira. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the most analytical gaze with which she looks me over. Oh, god damn it. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realise it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavour turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. I take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes mere seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently becoming quickly bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. So, how's school recently? That mouth. Seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all, listening to everything they say. Not that I mind. Leaving them to their chatting, I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Is that it? Oh. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realise that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as they would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Whoa, so cold! Weren't you just cooking for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least? I can cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly. That's... it's fine. I needed to learn sometime anyway. Lily? Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko places a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Taking the moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off her seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, I'd better be off. It was nice talking to you, Lily. Akira, do you have to? Lily looks genuinely mournful at her sister suddenly leaving. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See us. With that, she waltzes out the Shanghai with her hand held high. Liz still looks pretty depressed, so I tried to make some small talk in an effort to take her mind off of it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that I live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't really know much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she's extracted from me, really. Used to live together? Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip into Yamaku was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dormitories. Well, that explains her chatter about cooking. Evidently regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part. I take it you're better rested now? Sorry? You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick out my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. Yeah, I ended up walking over town, despite only planning taking a short walk down here. A reminder on my first from the walk, I lean forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can still studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep before the festival. I thought it was today. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. You're leaving? Yeah, you going to head back as well? It's getting kind of late. For a moment she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could you have one more coffee, please? Could we have one more coffee, please? Okay, I'll bring it right up. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree, given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. Giving a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Wanting company, then? I'd say that it's more that I was wondering. I see she's in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the question well enough. It's just that others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can almost understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation they've been in all their life. She and her sister must have a pretty good relationship, close relationship, taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible. Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back down, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself when talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realised something I should have noticed a bit earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Oh, right. Jiggity jiggity. Boop. Is that it? Oh. Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodations and facilities the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. It makes me wonder if students like Shizune, Misha and Lily are the exception for this school, rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm room, we know what's happening. I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything that's happened to me. Did we die? Are we dead? We're not dead! Oh, we might be. Might still be dead. Who knows? I mean, there's always time, right? We dead? Oh, yeah, we're not dead. The next day I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's Sunday and there are no classes. Not just the Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window I can already see some people at the soba booth selling in noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room, or possibly something like a fort complete with no girls allowed sign, and with the girls crossed out and body crudely scrawled underneath. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. It's not really that early, Kenji. What is it, man? Nothing. I was just going to ask what you're going to do today. Half the school is out there already. Out there? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about, man? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh shit, that's today? Ah, damn it. Can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is gonna be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is gonna be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're gonna be everywhere. The people outside my window, socializing. Kenji rubs his temples furiously, suddenly looking very ill. It's gonna be loud as hell. Damn, I was gonna go out today. Now it's just ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn. I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself. Now it's here and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today? The weather's even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not, though, so there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. No, I can't do it. They'll eat me alive out there, I know it. This has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face, relatively straight. What are you going to do? We should hang out here. You can help me build my fort. We can still make it if we work together. I don't know, man. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seems pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligation for the project? Are you out of your mind? Moin. That blind bro is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadows in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just a corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one, unless the threat of woman is stifled. They're everywhere, man. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, and slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then lock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. There's also it closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens to watch people pass. I attentively nibble away at the rather bland tasting item. That is when we are going to end episode 8? Episode 9? I can't remember, guys. Anyway, this is the end of this episode. I've gone over a little bit over the time limit, but I wanted to end it with Kenji because I fucking love Kenji, right? I know that my character hates him, right? But I love Kenji, seeing him. He's great. Yeah, guys, if you have a negative or positive comment to make underneath the video to help me improve the video, then please let me know. I'll do my best. If you have any other recommendations, any other visual novels or games similar to this that I can play, that I can work on, please let me know. If you want this, if you want to see more of this stuff in the future as well, give it a like and share. Yeah, I will see you in the next episode, guys. Out is out.